Hi guys, and welcome to our channel. My name is Saga.
My name is Jeremiah.
And we wanted to start this channel because I was recently diagnosed with a rare digestive condition called SMA, or superior mesenteric artery syndrome. Part of why we wanted to start talking about this is because there's an approximate 500 people in the United States who are diagnosed with this condition. It's very rare. There's not really a ton of information out there. Doctors tend to not believe in you and they don't want to think that it's a real condition because it's so intricate in a way.
Yeah, there's not a lot known about it yet.
Yeah, so we're hoping that we can spread awareness and make our channel grow so that the people out there who are being misdiagnosed with eating disorders or depression or other food-related illnesses can get the proper help that they need so that they can go back to living a normal, good life again.
It's been quite the journey. That's to say the least.
Yeah. Our journey began on May 1st of this year, 2019. We were on our way to Sweden to visit my family because I'm originally from Sweden. And on our way to the airport, I started feeling very sick to my stomach. I was nauseous and I started getting these weird hunger pains in my chest and my shoulders. And it kind of went off my neck too, I think, if I remember right.
I think so.
And we had an incredibly long journey ahead of us. We flew from DIA, which is in Denver, to Iceland, and then we had to fly to Copenhagen, where we were supposed to take another flight. But SAS was on an airstrike, and I wasn't feeling very good, so we did not want to risk that we would end up getting stuck in Denmark.
So we took a train.
It took 8 hours, and yeah, we took the train to Stockholm, and we then had to take a train to Uppsala, where I was born, which is about an hour, 45 minutes. 4 days in, I started noticing that every time I ate, I would get bloated, and I would get heartburn, I would feel nauseous. I mean, it was pretty bad to the point where I physically had to lay down. And 8 days exactly after we had gone to Sweden, I started vomiting.
Every 2 hours.
On the dot.
All night.
It was this weird black consistency, like coffee grounds almost.
By the way, if you ever see throw up that's like that with coffee grounds, it didn't. In this case, it usually means blood.
This case it didn't.
Call the emergency room.
Always call the emergency room if you start vomiting coffee grounds. In this case, it was just really dark bile, thankfully. First we kind of thought maybe it was stress, or that it was one of those 24-hour bugs where you just kind of feel shitty for a day and then you get over it. But I wasn't really doing any better, and you could tell that I was deteriorating pretty fast. So we called an ambulance, and the ER doctor was absolutely horrible, to say the least. I got diagnosed with gastritis that night. They did a CT scan with contrast that showed, he just said that it showed that I was really stressed, which is, I don't really know how you can tell from a CT scan that I'm stressed, but whatever, I guess.
They should have seen it then.
Yeah, and he gave me some medication and we were sent packing basically. And then we came back the day after because that morning I woke up and I was very bloated. Like
6 months pregnant, bloated.
Yeah.
But I think you were sick all night again, but you couldn't vomit.
I was dry heaving all night basically.
So we called the ambulance, but they sent this sick cab thing. And those of you who have been to Europe and these situations are from there probably, or especially Sweden, probably know exactly what that is. It took them forever to pack her up and move her, but we went back to the ER.
She was the best doctor ever.
She decided to put the NG tube in because she knew exactly what was going on.
Yeah, she came and told us that I probably have SMA syndrome.
But she drained
1 gallon.
1 gallon, 4 liters, 1 gallon in the first hour. But most of it was within the first 10 minutes.
Yeah, the guy barely had time to get the bag on before it just started oozing out.
Yeah, they had to change it before they wheeled out of the room where they put it in. So, and it's a 1 liter bag, so she did 1 liter in like 5 minutes.
Yeah, it was pretty intense.
Just think of those 2 liter soda things. There's 2 of those that came out of her stomach.
Yeah. I think that was the first time in 2 days where I had actually gone to go to sleep without pain, without nausea, without anything. I just think I slept for 5 days straight.
You fell asleep right away.
Yeah. So we were finally admitted to a ward. I don't remember this ward at all. Like, it could have been vascular, it could have been GI, I don't remember.
I don't know either. I couldn't speak the language or read it.
And we got a surgeon who was a non-believer in this. He did a gastroscopy and he went down to the blockage. And that's like as far as he would go, basically. And he just came up to the room afterwards and said, well, you're not vomiting right now. You should be fine, so you should go home and go back to the States. And so we went home and we I was starving at this point. Like, mind you, I had not had food for more than like the drip that they give you for, what was it, like 5 days, 4 days, 5 days.
And they sent you home because you had water and had a popsicle and it was fine, but it's all liquid, right?
All liquid, yeah.
So.
And then we came home and I ate like a sandwich, I think, like a third of a sandwich. And I ate a popsicle again because those popsicles, I was craving those popsicles like nothing else. And instantly I bloated up like that. And I started not getting nauseous. I started dry heaving. And we just knew we had to go back. So
that was the big wait.
We tried to call the ward that I was in. And they were like, nope, sorry, you gotta go back to the emergency room. Went back to the emergency room and had to wait for 5 hours before we were seen. And it took like 2 of those hours were just waiting for the doctor to come in after he was finished with the patient before me. Who knows what he was doing. At that point, I was halfway off my stretcher, like almost screaming because I was in so much pain. Like, it felt like my spine was just gonna snap. I had to beg him for an NG tube. And
he didn't want to put it in. Why?
He did not want to put it in because it would basically paralyze my stomach, is what his professional opinion was.
Doesn't make sense at all.
It doesn't. But he was so concerned that I was going to develop like gastroparesis or something that he was so against this idea. But he's like, okay, I guess I'll put one in for tonight and then we'll see how you feel in the morning. We'll remove it and you can go home. So he put the NG tube down.
And we waited and waited and waited, and keep in mind, this was not in a room. This was her on her roller bed in the hallway. They had marked spots in the hallway.
Yeah.
And I got a nice plastic hard chair. 20 hours even. That was 1620. It was the weekend, and they were, I guess, short.
It was, and this time we were actually transferred to the vascular department.
Yep.
Vascular ward.
And surgery recovery ward.
Yeah, so basically the people who've had like aorta surgeries or other kinds of surgeries involving your big veins and your big blood supply were in this department.
And some of the other ones. There's a few intestinal ones.
Yeah, some other ones too. He was the best surgeon on this case I think we've had so far.
He was a surgeon, yeah. He knew what it was. He knew what she needed to do.
He was a vascular surgeon.
And he had actually done some of these surgeries before.
Well, not this exact kind, but similar enough that he would be able to do it.
Yeah, similar intestinal surgery. It was interesting that he was a vascular surgeon, but...
Yeah. But they were very quick at this ward. They were very quick to get me on something that would restore my weight, because at this point I was at 75 pounds, which I had, before this started, I was 100 pounds. So it was quite...
5 pounds in 2 weeks or something.
Yeah.
Most of it at the hospital.
So they inserted IVs, which they used to give me TPN, which stands for...
Total Peritoneal Nutrition.
Right. And for those of you who haven't experienced TPN, TPN is very vein irritating. Like it fries your veins basically if you don't have it through a PICC line in your arm, through a port in your chest, or a central line in your throat area.
It's a weird viscous white fluid that smells like cat pee.
Yeah, it really does. But we were okay with it because we knew that Peter, our surgeon, was working on getting me into emergency surgery because he could tell that I really needed it. So one morning I woke up and my arm had exploded with the needle in it, and the TPN was going everywhere underneath my skin basically. And I'll insert a picture right here. And so they decided to put in a central line, which it was the shoulder, right? Mm-hmm. Let's see if you can see. I still have some marks. It's kind of
see the red mark
red and irritated in a little bit, which is from the TPN or the central line, which I'll insert a picture right here as well.
All right, so the central line goes through your subclavian to the top of your heart to deliver the medication, so your heart pumps it through quickly so it doesn't touch the veins. Now they tried, I think you had a newer person, they tried up here. Didn't work.
In my neck.
So the doctor that did it was really nice, asked you if it was okay if you tried again, put it right here in her, can't see on me,
in my clavicle.
In her collarbone, right above it.
Yeah.
Clavicle. And, got out the first shot.
It was really good.
She was pretty drugged up from
Yeah, they gave me some sedatives because you have to remain calm, and I was having a panic attack.
You have to hold still.
Yeah, you have to be perfectly still. And so they started using that instantly, and we had some friends here in the States who were actually on vacation in Sweden at the same time, and they took time out of their vacation to come see me, which I'm so grateful for. They decided that they can't keep me in the hospital because as a immigrant from Sweden, I am only covered for 7 days of emergency care, and then they don't cover me anymore, and it's very expensive. So Peter said that they're gonna try to put an NJ tube down, and so they tried to put it down, and for an hour and a half they tortured me with the long tube, but it wouldn't pass through, and I had to tell them to stop because it just was hurting me so bad. So that failed, and we had to do another CT scan for Peter, which confirmed the block for him, which settled the deal for him. He said, yes, you need the surgery, which the surgery is a duodenojejunectomy.
Well, basically, they take part of the jejunum, which is kind of the middle section, the beginning of the jejunum, the middle section of the intestine, cut it, put it, reattach it to the duodenum, which is the first part of the small intestine, so that it kind of bypasses the block, and then sew the other piece up to that. So it kind of creates a
new duodenum, basically.
A new place for everything to go before the block. You knew that if they were going to have to install a surgical feeding tube, they might as well just fix it. Right.
But sadly, that same day, he told us that we were being transferred to basically GI. In the U.S., it would correlate to a GI department. And he was vascular, so he was no longer our surgeon. And thankfully, we got a pretty great surgeon. Again, he was listening and attentive, and he talked in English so that you would understand, which was very important to us. But he did not want to do the duodenojejunectomy. He wanted to place a feeding tube instead so that we could go home, basically saying, we'll do what we can, and then you're the U.S.'s problems.
Yeah, we found the paperwork where it said, we'll just do as little as we can to send her home.
So on May 31st, I had my feeding tube installed, which I will show you. It looks like this. It's a very pretty little thing that you get in your stomach, and it comes out. It's called a dangler, I think, if I understand it right. And it comes out in 3 sections, just like this. So this section is the section that keeps the tube from falling out of the
stoma.
The stoma, thank you. And it's a balloon, so it's filled with like sugar water right now, because that's what they use in the hospital. This
glycerin.
is a J tube, which is it goes into your small intestine, your jejunum.
Past the block.
Past the block, so I can get fed that way. And this is a G tube, which is a gastro tube. I think gastric. Thank you. And that currently drains all the stomach bile and stomach acid out of my stomach, so that I don't spend all day vomiting.
Which we empty about 3 or 4 times a day,
depending.
So.
And so we were finally discharged on June 11th, and that had been almost on June 12th would have been exactly a month. Right now we are waiting for the duodenojejunostomy, which hopefully will happen soon.
After going through many doctors here and finding our own way, because since it happened in Sweden, they couldn't get a care team together for us, so we had to do it real quick when we got here. And we've had a lot of people that have helped us, two main doctors that have really helped us, and currently are the one that really wants her to get in for surgery right away. So
that's kind of our basic story. It's kind of why we want to start this, so that we can spread awareness, so that we can help people in similar situation or exactly in the same situation, even, because it's a 24-hour job. Like you do so much, and because I physically can't do much anymore because I'm so tired, my body is working on overdrive basically every day, pretty much all day long. So we have to do a lot of work, and there's a lot of medications involved and such.
More detailed videos to come with.
With the,
there's so much to tell. We got
yeah, this is the beginning. So, we will tell the story of what happened when we came back to the States in another video, because that's a whole other journey that we've had to endure.
In the meantime, if you have any questions, I know we're not medical professionals, but if you have any questions about our experience, maybe we can help you if you're going through something like that.
Comment down below. And if you're willing to follow us on this journey and our lives after the surgery, hopefully, and what's to come for us in the future, hit the subscribe button.
Yeah. And share it, because like we said, the point is we want to get it out there. It needs to be something that gets more awareness. So they can just get better help from the medical community.
Yeah. So thank you guys so much for watching, and we'll see you in our next video.